Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, call halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and of course, double honors go out to the apostles, great millstone, who through the Spirit have taught all of us His truth, and who rule well. All right. Uh, this video, I'm gonna concentrate on. Hey, you gotta go at. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. These two coons here. All right. Each representative of their respective parties. You got Congressman Clyburn on the left of the screen here, who's been in there for a while in the Congress, and then you have this demon to the right, who's a anchor for Fox News. All right, just look at the hatred, and this is again represents the hatred the so-called black woman has for the so-called black man. All right, and you are really going to see that with this. And the jury is still out as to what she really is, but everybody thinks that she is a so-called black woman, so-called African American. All right, I'm talking about Kamala Harris as the new VP. All right, and this is a direct consequence. I'm talking about Kamala Harris. This is a direct consequence of people not realizing the origins of one's nationality, which goes through the father. All this black, black, black. All right, it leaves it wide open for you to claim anybody who is of a darker hue as your own when they're not. All right, but I didn't want to dwell on that. That's a whole nother video. But here, the dangers of cooning. All right, it says James Clyburn battles Fox News host who wants him to thank Trump supporters. 75 million is more than 71 million, and it's a reason they get into it. All right, but it's one thing to read it, it's another to show you. I'll just glance over it. It says House Majority Whip James Clyburn, Democrat, South Carolina, on Sunday faced off with a Fox News host who argued that he should say thank you to President Donald Trump supporters. You're like, why? Why would that even be involved? Do you think for one second if roles were reversed in this case, being Trump had been reelected, you think it's like she's asking you to, well, I don't even really know what was in her mind for that. It looks like she got that from her handlers or whatever have you. But then again, this expression on her face just tells it all. I mean, damn. Goes on to say, so they believed in him, talking about Trump supporters. So they believed in him, and they still want him to prevail legally. However, that can happen. We don't know. But we're following the story, obviously. What do you say to them? How do you reach those people? Because when I hear you saying that Biden is not going to listen to the far left, I know from my own reporting with people that that's a sign of relief. All right, because he's going to be the president, not, and you got to bring her up, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or some of the others. But yeah, you can tell she was put up to this. But what's your message to all of those Trump supporters? All right. And as you get into this, I don't want to spend too much time on it. It's Jake Boy just does not. We just have a bunch of dead people amongst us. All right. It says to begin with, nearly 75 million people voted for Joe Biden. Clyburn pointed out. And the last time I checked, 75 million is more than 71 million. So I think Joe Biden has an obligation to do what he said he was going to do, and that is run as a proud Democrat, but government as a proud American, and that's what he's going to do, or govern, I should say. And this is the thing, which goes to show you If it was talking about the voting process, popular vote should be it. But no, they've got this, I guess, safety mechanism. All right, if you want to call it that, for lack of any other, that way I could describe it, called the Electoral College. All right, which by a whole lot of people just say it's antiquated. It needs to be done away with. And being the history of this country, you can't get away from it. It's steeped in racism, all right, and uh, just all out wickedness, all right. So, like I said, it's one thing to read it; it's another. Let me go ahead and play this, but you can see the facial expressions and all this that goes along with it. Just adds that extra layer of.
I want to bring in now House Majority Whip James Clyburn, Democrat from South Carolina, and I'll just say this right off the top as we welcome you to this hour, Congressman, that you are credited so much with not just Joe Biden's victory, but also just being the nominee because you delivered the black vote in South Carolina. I want to talk with you in a moment about that, but let's start here. The conflict that's being reported on within your Democratic Party. Who decides the priorities for Democrats? Is it the far left and Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, and others, those congresswomen and others, or is it Joe Biden?
It is Joe Biden. Thank you so much for having me. But Joe Biden is the president-elect. He ran a campaign laying out for the American people what to expect from a Biden administration, and now he's going to put together a staff, a cabinet that will reflect what he wants his administration to be about. He's not going to listen to me, and I'm not going to offer him any suggestions unless he asks for them. So he is the one that's been campaigning all over this country for the last several years. He's been vice president for 8 years, been in the Senate for more than 40 years. So he knows this country very well. I know him very well, and I will trust his judgment.
You know, I have to press in and ask, because the Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has been on camera talking about how she and others will push Joe Biden. I almost hear you talking directly to them when you say, wait to be asked. Am I wrong about that?
Yes, you are. I'm not telling anybody to do anything. I try to lead by precept and example. And so anything you hear me say,
the wrong
I
precept.
think you're going to see me act that way. And back when we were trying to get a nominee, a lot of people in the media kept pressing me on what I thought or did not think. I resisted that, and I will continue to resist that. I just believe that when you put a candidate out there and he or she is successful, and in this instance, he and she.
Look at the expression on the face like, hurry up.
Let them put their cabinet together. And that's all I'm going to do.
You know, you talk about the difference that you personally will make, and you certainly can do that. I'm wondering, because I know you have friends across the political aisle, nearly 71 million Americans, and we're still counting votes, said that President Trump wasn't just their choice, but that they believed in him, and they still want him to prevail legally. However that can happen, we don't know. But we're following the story, obviously. What do you say to them? What do you say to them? How do you reach those people? Because when I hear you saying that Biden's not going to listen to the far left, I know from my own reporting with people that that's a sigh of relief, because he's going to be the president, not AOC or some of the others. But what's your message to all of those Trump supporters?
Pause. See, here's the thing, and anybody that remembers Bush v. Gore, 2000 election, I mean, you could say much the same thing, and, well, people did, and, you got a lot of, so what, F your feelings and all this, if anybody remembers back then, all that crooked mess they did then. Did they ask how the Democrats were, how they felt? A lot of course, being that at that time too, the popular vote went to what? The Democrats. And then we had this whole electoral college thing, which still
To begin with, nearly
Salaki, which still was up in the air for a while here, as if to say we're still deciding who we really want, you know. But that whole thing is crooked. It's wicked. All right, popular vote should. That's it. The majority of the people have spoken. But no, they gotta go in the back rooms, which what this electoral college is hinting at. All right, no, we want this, you know, because hey, these presidents are selected. All right, you just have the illusion. All right, of you just have the illusion of picking or electing. That's it. So, like I said, a little bit more of this. I'm gonna move on.
75 million people voted for Joe Biden. And the last time I checked, 75 million, more than 71 million. I think that Joe Biden has an obligation to do what he said he was going to do, and that is run as a proud Democrat, but govern as a proud American. And that's what he's going to do. Now, you know, even within families, you'll have disagreements on how best to approach any one question. And so I look upon our caucus as a family. My congressional district is different from the congressional district next to me. I share 6 counties with Joe Cunningham. He just lost his election, re-election, because people felt that they wanted a change. I just won my re-election with better than 65% of the vote. So what's the difference? The difference are our constituents. So I need to reflect my constituents. He needs to reflect his. At the top of this program, you said you give me credit for delivering Joe Biden's victory. No, I reflect.
Oh no, we've been reporting that you get that credit.
Yes.
Yeah, and I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about who you delivered. I hear all of that.
Dismissive is.
And I understand it. But we are at such a tender point in our country. I thought that there might have been
Our
a thank
country.
you to the 71 million voters who engaged at the rate that they did. Because it is impressive no matter which man would walk away with the presidency.
You know,
to
enough
bring
of
us all
this,
together might have been there. I want to get to this though. 8% of black vote for President Trump in 2016. We're still counting votes. It looks like about that much, if not a little bit more.
You know, it's sad that we still have people like this amongst us. These buck dancing individuals, like you see here, both.
According to our brain room. What do you think needs to be
we
done?
do. This is, let me get scriptures that have gone on way too long without any. This is, first of all, we're always jumping behind our enemies here. This is, let's see. Never learn. That's why we need to get up out of this place. Because if left up to individuals like that, we'd be here forever. This is Deuteronomy chapter 17. Verse 15 says, "Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Most High Yahweh thy power shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother." And all you heard Saturday, people going up and down the streets, honking horns, still hand in hand with these devils. And there's warnings against that. Go to Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah 13th chapter. Alright. It's Isaiah chapter 13. I will start at 13. It says, "Therefore I will shake the heavens," this is the Most High, And the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Most High, the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as the chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. Our people haven't learned yet that nobody cares about us. They always team up against us in the end. And it's going to be no different in that day, which is approaching very soon. Verse 15, every one that is found shall be thrust through, and every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. 16, their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. There you go. Alright, let's cap it off with this. You know, some people are in for a very rude awakening, as the expression goes. Because our people always get it in the end. Alright. This is Lamentations chapter 4, verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet, and this is a result of the curses. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. You can insert Isaiah chapters 30 and 31 into that. Alright, because we always go down in those particular verses, chapters. It's talking about when we went down to Egypt, asked for help against the Assyrians. Alright, in chapter 30. Alright, and what happened as a result? You know, again, we are on our own, always have been, because what? This is all done in order to hopefully remind our people that we have but one power, and that's the Most High. We're supposed to be set aside as being holy, alright, being not of this world. Alright, so with that, I'm going to stop it right there. It's sad, but yeah, you have all the time people such as these two, alright, bootlickers, always looking for these Edomites and other nations, but especially Edom, who hates us. I can't get over the expression on her face here. This, as far as the so-called black woman hating so-called black man, boy, that's it. Like, if looks could kill, as the expression goes. If looks could kill, damn. Once again, this is from the Raw Story. It says James Clyburn battles Fox News host who wants him to thank Trump supporters. Alright, so with that, hey, it is what it is, you know. I can't wait for, especially, well, both of them to get what they deserve, but this damn black woman. Okay, so with that, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Rakwadash. Of course, once again, double honors to the apostles of great millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Akim out there on the highways and byways, pushing the truth, all honesty and sincerity, trying to wake up the hopefully elect. So with that, shalom.